side, I'll be interested to see how this Aatrox does against Udyr, and especially Arja's Udyr, because so far nothing's really found its mark. Now, I wonder if they're going to send some people top to try and catch out Arja level 1, because I don't remember who it was, but yesterday we had someone, oh, my mind blanks me, but they were running in trying to invade as Udyr, like Arja does every single game, and got chased down and killed level 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he was against a Rumble, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, it did happen, and so I wonder if, I mean, at least for now.
Pretty interesting that Eminem went for the Comet. When we see the lethality verse, it's usually Halo Blades, and it's a lot stronger in lane. Yeah, but I think it's stronger in lane depending what you're laning against. And here you've got the double range support and AD carry. Right. So it's not actually that easy to get off 3 auto attacks without taking a substantial amount of your health in return. And so the Comet just means you're able to poke out a little bit of that health first. Yeah. And maybe in the direct trade it'll be weaker, but certainly over time, if you're able to land that Comet, the Halo Blades confirms it will land 100%. Yeah. It will mean pressure is a little bit easier to get. Yeah, Comet working pretty nicely with Leona too, I imagine. She procs her Sunlight passive, and you want as many instances of damage as you can to... Yeah, to proc those, extra burst. Now, it isn't going to be the split map, so Gemini... starting this bot side, we'll see what the lane state. I do think that PSG are a team that's good enough to realize that they're under threat just being on this side of the map. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how they play it out. I think if you're Frank bot lane, you're looking for just Leona ease non-stop and trading heavily. If you can get a sum out of PSG's bot lane, that would be disastrous for them. Yeah. Cleanse even, just the cleanse would be enough to look for something in the future. Level 2 for both. So PSG's team is actually really low on magic damage. Might be a problem for them late game. This is a really tanky team. Yeah, I'd say somewhat, but honestly, RJ will be doing a lot of magic damage. Junjia will be doing a lot of magic damage as well. And in general, having... Oh, yeah, Maple goes forward. He should be able to get the reset. Oh, he's not able to get that last auto attack. But... there is no follow-up. Jimmy cannot go in. Oh, it ends up being a good trade for Maple, and he actually takes pressure off of his bot lane. Yeah. When Rel shows mid. Of course, this is the mid lane matchup we got to see in the grand finals from last year, so it's always exciting to see these two go up against each other. Different teams this time, of course, Jimmy joining Frank, but... I mean, we had such a back-and-forth grand finals, and the two mid laners were so instrumental in that, as well as Junjia. Guess you're going to crash the wave and bounce it back, and they should be safe for the time being. As Aatrox is doing okay. Yeah. I think importantly too, he doesn't have mana, so he never sort of has to worry about spamming abilities and running out of mana into this Udyr. He can just continue to stay in lane as long as his health bar is not going down. Yeah, and I imagine he outscales in the 1v1 and can be more useful in team fights. Yeah, I'd say in general should be, right? I think it's a lot harder for Udyr to find massive influence in a team fight, whereas a single sort of well-placed Q that comes through from Jiang can just spell the difference between a team fight win or loss. Yeah, yeah, especially up against quite a few immobile champs. Yeah. Now, heal was used in bot lane and cleanse as well, actually. Eminem and Woody using those summoners, so interested to see the state of the lane down there. Junjia, of course, getting a lot of vision in that bottom side jungle, so I think PSG are pretty happy to play however they want in this bot lane now. Yeah, now that PSG's bot lane aren't worried about the Rel, they were able to just trade pretty heavily and get themselves an advantage. Varus is down to his last potion. And 2 bickies. Yeah, true. As Gemini's on his way back bot side. Yeah, we'll be spotted out though. There is a lot of vision. Yeah, same for Junjia. I think. Okay. This won't be... There's no way that PSG know about this. They may have a suspicion, and I think if Junjia comes down, finds these grubs not being attacked at all, should have a good idea that it's being done. But down on bot lane, it looks like... not sure what exactly happened, but
PSG are able to find first blood. That's a really, really good start to this Aphelios Renata lane.
Yeah, that's a big wave going down. I'm assuming just handshake landed.
Yeah, and Cleanse was expelled in whatever trade happened earlier as well. Even with the jungler on bot side.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate with your jungler bot side.
Let's have a look.
So we're going to see what happened. Oh, he's just going for a greedy recall. Oh, and the Relic Shield gives him away. I guess they thought PSG's bot lane had backed.
Yeah.
And he just dies. Decides to not use his flash.
Yeah. Greedy recall indeed. Yep. Does have his Dirk now, so while Aphelios is up in items in theory, I think it is still the Varus that will be doing more damage as long as the trades are short and sweet. Now, Oblivion Orb is the first item picked up here from RJ. Of course, it's very easy for him to apply it.
Yeah.
And it will mean this healing that is being done from the Aatrox will be a lot lower. I still don't think there's ever really a way for RJ to kill.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's a weird pickup, and it's going to be an Oblivion Orb for the rest of the game, right? He's not going to turn that into anything, I assume.
No, I don't think he would want to. But, I mean, I guess we'll see, right? But at least for now, I do think it'll just remain an Oblivion Orb. Kind of curious, but he's a better player than I, so.
Yeah. Feels like maybe he just needs it in the matchup. I can't imagine he's lining up a solo kill.
No. I also don't think he's really ever in threat of being solo killed either, so.
Yeah.
Oh, Kaiwing is going to be caught up by their handshake as Junji and Gemini both will be coming down. Kaiwing's able to get out, loses quite a bit of health, and the wave's not in a very good position here for M&M.
Yeah, good damage traded back onto Junjia, and probably a relief for Jimian to be able to get a wave out and get a recall here. He's actually doing really well in CS considering how badly these trades have been going for him.
Yep, definitely. Azir will start to feel a lot better in this lane the more his items do come online.
Yeah.
Looks like Kraken Slayer as well will be the item of choice for Maple on this Tristana.
I think we saw a Blade of the Ruined King earlier from Chovy, so could still be that.
Yeah, in theory. Okay, Jiang being looked at, so this Oblivion Orb might just matter now. Buster Shot comes through. The bomb will be enough damage, but it is traded back. RJ as well as Jiang both going down. Now, importantly, though, it is Jiang that does not have teleport, and this wave will be crashing, although Gemini
can hold it for him, I think.
Yeah, he's getting a bit lippy here. Maple, he's going to look for that reset, and if he gets it, should be fine to jump on out.
My goodness.
It's a disaster.
Yeah.
It is an absolute disaster. Maple there on the screen, he's having a bit of a giggle. But wave really good for Jiang now.
Yeah, and mid as well. This Tristana doesn't have TP, as this almost backfires horrifically. I thought they were going to have enough damage just to one-shot this Aatrox immediately.
Oh, the Q lands.
And the Q3 here, I think if that Q3 landed, it was a double kill.
Yeah. Very, very close. He's able to land the Q2 onto RJ, which means that Udyr goes down. He gets a little bit of health left.
Yeah, really well played by Jiang.
Sure. Trading 1 for 1. Definitely not the worst. Junjia, though, he's continuing up his aggression as he takes away this red buff from Gemini. Biddy as well. There was a trade. Both sums are once again gone on this Varus, and there's a Junjia.
Oh, he has no cleanse again.
Yeah, no cleanse. Biddy will connect there with the Q. He's going to look for it, and the kill will be given over. So that's a 2-0 Aphelios now, as Eminem's going to sacrifice a massive wave also.
Wow. Woody, I think, it's mostly happened off screen, but Woody is justifying this Renata pick. This Varus's cleanse has not been up the entire game.
Yeah.
He is just landing handshake after handshake.
You're not the easiest game to play without a cleanse as an AD carry, but well played by Woody and Betty to consistently be able to find those angles. Now, it isn't going to be for free. Frank are going to be able to pick up their 3 Void Grubs, so won't be any Void Mites in this game at least.
Yeah, this Aphelios is going to be a problem, but I think they do have the champs to deal with it on the side of Frank.
Yeah, they can, but an Aphelios that's ahead does become extremely problematic very, very quickly.
Yeah.
There's just so many different ways you can play the champion, depending on which guns you have. Even Azir gets outranged if the Calibrin's up, and
and you always will have to, with the Tristana and a Fed Aphelios, you're going to have to permanently be worrying about Baron. They have a very tanky team that does not take any damage from it. The Udyr and Maokai can tank Baron all day.
Yeah. Looks like Barmy Cinder and straight away into the Frozen Heart is what Junjia is choosing to build on the Maokai.
I can't imagine Frank contesting this Dragon. Any fight around bot lane is going to be heavily PSG favored.
Yeah, it feels a little scary, doesn't it?
Tristana should be quite a bit stronger than Azir at this point, though Jimmian does pick up his first item.
Is he going to teleport, though? No, he's not. No. This Dragon
picked up. He TPs to mid just to pick up a wave.
Okay, and things off to a good start here for PSG. Much as we expected. We do, at least myself, I do think PSG should be the favourites in this matchup, but Frank certainly have been looking good, and they're far from out of this game. They're trying to set up something, and might even find it here as Betty does have his sums.
It feels like PSG are onto them. It feels like they're onto them.
Yeah, they've... Oh!
Wow.
Well, Betty partly reaction times, walking away at the correct time, but timing also. I think he thought that Zenith Blade would land and just immediately threw the ult down directly on top of it, but it was not quite in range. Yeah,
decent attempt from Frank. They're not going to be suffering too much without their Leona flash. Oh, unless Jimmian's here. Oh my god, he punches him. He just punches him. Gemini not actually standing in the bush. So he still doesn't know they have it pinked.
It's like, kind of looked like he DC'd for a second, right?
It did. I was worried. Junjia just, ends up punching him.
They were, going to look for a dive, but luckily Gemini did stick around, so... Was able to avoid that, and... Betty, though, he already is up in items. He's just continuing to grow his CS lead. Got a couple of plates for himself, too.
Looks like despite the gank, Jiang is feeling pretty good about top lane at the moment. I mean, he is getting permanently shoved in, but he's up CS and doing fine in trades, up a level.
Yeah, definitely the best look, I think, so far. Especially into Arja's Udyr.
This could backfire for PSG.
Yeah,
Gemini's
maybe.
here.
Jiang very, very quick. And this is looking like it might backfire. Nature's Grass comes out. So does the Magnet Storm. And Arja is going to be running away. Flash from Junjia will mean he is not going to be connected with on that third Q.
Yeah, ends up just being a trade of flashes. They do get the Udyr Ghost, but pretty inconsequential. You can kind of see they're maybe lacking damage topside on PSG.
Yeah, for sure. But they don't really need that damage, especially with how far ahead Betty's now found himself. Iceborne Gauntlet completed for Arja, so it's going to make his lane a little bit easier. Bit of damage reduction, even the slow on it to try and find follow-up damage. On the other side, it's going to be one of the Hydras.
I think it's the Profane.
Profane? Yeah. I think it's Profound? No? Maybe. I don't know. Can't remember. But, Hydra first. I think we usually see Sundered Sky.
Yeah, maybe he's just
going for... This is the first Aatrox game in the PCS, but I think in general... But it does mean that I guess he's allowed off of his tower finally.
Yeah, he'll get some wave clear against the Udyr. Definitely needs it. Rift Herald picked up. Anywhere they take this Aphelios right now, you can't do much about it.
Yeah.
As Frank.
Ooh, what item do we think Betty's going towards? Because he has the longsword. Maybe he's just picking up the longsword because he's going to need it later anyway, and he's still going to go IE, but...
He might just go for a BT, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of with these components.
Yeah, maybe. I think he will go IE and then just use this longsword later for LDR or...
Yeah, maybe he's thinking his lost con is going to be this Varus landing poke onto him, Azir landing poke onto him. So he'll just pick up a BT and your poke will just... They'll never get a chance to get the poke off the ground.
Yeah, maybe, but there is already inbuilt sustain for Aphelios, of course, whenever he has the Severum. And also, if he does build Lifesteal, I think I would prefer it if he just builds a Vamp Scepter and sits on it.
Yeah.
Because in general, that should be enough, especially once you start to get more AD. It just sort of gets better and better. Now, Solar Flare will come out. It does actually connect onto Junjie and Maple, but a good buffer of the rocket jump gets Maple out of any harm's way, and will be able to pick up that mid tower nice and early, will PSG. Gold is still in their favor, but only 1k, so certainly not been as easy for them to get that early lead and just blow open the game as it has been in their prior series. They're going to have to truly prove their advantage here. Oh, would he actually get stunned? Magnustorm does come through, and he's going to be able to use that hostile takeover. Flash as well was committed, so he does get himself out. Teleport from Arja comes through behind. There shouldn't be much from the fight.
The dragon.
Yeah, Tower as well should go over to Maple, so they are finding things. Woody, though, he has not recalled.
Still going to be... Oh, he doesn't have the Renata ulti, but he's still going to be very useful in a fight, even on this much HP, unless the Varus can find him.
Yeah, Honey Fruit gets him back a little bit more healthy. Also has heal available, so maybe this just comes down to a smite fight. Nature's Grass comes out. This is going to be Junjie who secures that one for himself. Moonlight Vigil comes through, does connect onto Gemini. Gemini getting very, very low. Kaiwing now the target, but it's going to be Junjie who's taken out first. The kill is confirmed. It's Jimmian. He goes in and he finds Maple, but Arja's trying to find one back. Jimmian now picking up his second of the team fight after a really nice re-engage there from this Azir. And Jimmian once again proving his worth in this Frank lineup.
Yeah, Jimmian, we almost forgot about him this game. And then he just comes out of nowhere and turns what is an okay fight. They do get one kill into a great fight.
For sure.
For Frank. Yeah, 2 kills on him, 300 gold shutdown. It's going to accelerate his Lichbane, I assume.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be Lichbane. I mean, yeah,
he likes the Lichbane. I think he's the only person going for the Lichbane, as Junjie getting the smite is actually really difficult against the Rel. Gemini barely living, but they just take out Junjie. Kaiwing flashes away just to make sure the res doesn't come through, and then an amazing flash by Jimmian. He actually gets Aphelios' flash as well.
Yeah, almost got Betty too. One thing I want to say about Betty is that guy is so crazy with his reaction times. Every time anything's used onto him, he is immediate with his flash.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't want him fed on an Aphelios.
No, yeah. It is still, of course, PSG who are in the lead. They've also got themselves the 2 dragons, but some important gold now onto the Azir, and that's pretty much exactly who you want the gold on here if you are Frank. He is the guy on the team that will be able to carry these late game team fights once Varus's sort of DPS is going to lower.
Yeah, and this is more of the Varus we're kind of used to seeing. Rough laning phase into low impact. We've seen a lot of this from Varus.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Mikhail's is the first item picked up for Woody on this Renata.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it is good. It means that every time the cleanse is on cooldown, and honestly, even for Maple, you are able to cleanse something of Leona's, most likely. Perhaps it could be the Chain of Corruption.
Yeah. Yeah, plenty to cleanse.
Yeah, IE will be completed, so as I said, it is going to be just that longsword being sat on.
Yeah, maybe he goes for BT now.
I still think you might just go LDR. You have a tough job trying to get through both the Leona and the Rel. I think you really need Armor Pen as soon as possible. I think Aphelios is one of the best AD carries at not needing lifesteal till...
Yeah.
I mean, a bit later, of course. Cycling through the weapons, getting your red gun back up.
Navori going to be the pickup for Maple. Frozen Heart up on the Maokai, Frozen Heart on the Rel. Very cheap, very good item.
Now, 2 sleds. Both supports picking that one up for themselves. I think, I think PSG, if you are PSG here, you don't really want to do anything until that Navori comes through. Now, importantly, of course, Betty does have IE, so maybe you could justify a fight with his power spike, but Maple is, I mean, not that close, but still within 2,000 gold of his, which is a very, very important item for Tristana to have constant uptime on that rapid fire, as well as the
I like what they're doing though. They're just controlling the Baron vision because they have insane Baron pressure, and pretty much for the rest of the game, Frank are going to have to be worried about this Baron, and eventually they're going to make a mistake. Someone's going to face check, and PSG are going to be waiting for them, get the kill, and then they will just do the Baron.
Yeah. And they also just have, if they start the Baron and it's not reacted to in time, the nature of sort of Nature's Grasp as well as hostile takeover means it's very, very hard for Gemini to find his way into the pit, even if they do make it or start to head there.
Yeah, very difficult to play now that the Baron is up for Frank.
Frozen Heart completed now for Arjo on the Udyr, so getting himself more and more tanky. Jimmy, though, notably, he is the guy with the kills. He's building what I believe will turn into a Crypt Bloom, but not all that much magic resist against him, so we'll start pretty much just doing true damage to everyone.
Yeah, he is the hope for Frank, really, unless Jian can do something crazy on this Aatrox. He's gone full lethality, which at first I was thinking he'd want to stack armor this game, but I understand why he'd go for a lethality build. If he can just one-shot this Aphelios, then they probably just win any fight. If he can get on the Aphelios, even on the Tristana, he's going to be able to have a lot of impact.
Yeah, and he's still not the easiest to take down, assuming he's able to land some of those Qs, get the auto attacks off. Okay, Dragon is live. Mountain Dragon. It would be the third of the game for PSG, second for Frank. And at least for now, Frank do maintain control over the river, which is really, really important when you're going up against the Maokai, because it's quite hard for you to face check into a Saplings. Now, it isn't the AP Maokai we used to see, so the Saplings won't be hitting that hard, but it is just very annoying to walk into, and it does slightly chip away at you. It allows for certain other abilities to land or even set up for fights. Betty, not the best guns.
Oh, that was kind of scary for PSG.
Yeah. Now they're going to start up this Dragon. They did all make their way here into the river. Piercing arrow goes wide. Now keep your eye really on Betty. It really feels like it's going to be between Betty and Jimmy and who can output the most damage. Solar Flare comes down. It's going to be Gemini who's able to pick that one up. Crash down backwards. Willing to use, but Twisted Advance forward as Junji is going to have to flash himself back out to safety. And there's a bit of a heist, but Gemini is able to secure himself that second Dragon, evening up the current state of those Dragons.
Yeah, Varus just picks up a mid tower while this is all happening, and they're going to put up the Azir turret and look for more. PSG punished for just flipping the Dragon. They did it last time. They got away with it and outsmited the Rel, but Rel is a very difficult champ to win the smite fights against.
Yeah. You're not often relying on winning it twice. Even once is difficult enough.
There was actually a moment there where PSG all jumped over on a blast cone, and I think Gemini just wasn't ready for it. Otherwise, that would have been a disaster for PSG. Okay. I think we have a very, very even game here. Possibly the most even game we've had of the split. 2 Dragons apiece. I believe it's 3 Void Garubs apiece. Pretty much exactly even in terms of gold. Yeah, just like an extra tower for PSG. Yeah, and I don't even think anyone's sort of overly favored in the late game. I think Aphelios probably definitely outscales the Lethality Varus. Yeah. Azir outscales the Tristana, at least in team fighting. Yeah, I imagine the Aatrox is going to be more useful than the Udyr, but the Maokai becomes more useful. Just Nature's Grasp, making people leave a tower. And then I think the Maokai is definitely easier to execute, but Rel can, Yeah, I mean, if you find a 5-man Magnet Storm, it's a game good enough, but we'll see. Frank have actually taken control of the topside river, and they're entering PSG's jungle. They have to feel good about this. For sure. Importantly, though, they don't have the fastest Baron in the world. Of course, if Jimmy's here, it's quite a bit faster, but the Lethality Varus tends to sort of hinder your chances at taking Barons away. Oh, Magnet Storm comes through. It's only going to connect onto Junjia. Betty again with fantastic reflexes. In comes the hostile takeover. Junjia might just get away. Is going to, thanks to the usage of that Mikhails from Woody. But not before losing all of his health bar. Also,
getting out Betty's flash there for what was only the flash and ignite of Kaiwing. Now, there are some important ults down, of course. Magnet Storm, Solar Flare, Chain of Corruption are all down, and Kaiwing might not be able to make it to this pit, but this Baron is getting so low. There's a blast cone here. In comes the Moonlight Vigil, but it's going to miss. Betty's not going to connect on it, and Baron is chunking down Frank so low. RJ is taking a lot of damage to Jimmy and Zazir here. He's doing a very good job of spacing around those soldier auto attacks, and I think we're going to have a disengagement. Very hard for both teams to pilot those fights. Almost felt like a 4v4 as Junjie was pretty much on just the 1 HP and was lining up a blast cone to try and find himself a steal.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kaiwing survived, and I'm surprised they didn't go for the... I guess they just didn't want to flip it on the Baron Smite. Understandable, as they're walking back towards it.
They are walking back towards it, and PSG are only on a reset timing now. They actually see the resets come through from their pink ward down on the bottom side of mid, and so now it is going to be both Maple and Woody not present for this, at least for the start. It's up to Betty, Junjie, and RJ, who's slowly running up here to try and delay it, but this Baron is down to 3k health, 2k health. They are going to get the Baron. Are they going to have a fight afterwards? Jiang getting quite low, does still have that World Ender available for him as Crashdown comes down, blocks out a couple, but it's going to be Eminem who's jumped on. Junjie finds himself that Varus, but now he's the target as RJ's back into the fray. He's managed to find his way onto Jimmy, but there's no follow-up. RJ's going to be taken out. That's a third kill of the game now for Jimmy, and the hostile takeover's trying to do what he can, but Betty gets taken out. Maple gets taken out, and Woody is not long after. It's going to be a clean ace here for Frank as they turn the game around and pick themselves up the Baron.
Yeah, and Frank just made PSG look dizzy that fight. Jiang had a great fight. He found Maple trying to enter the fight. Everyone on PSG was maybe just rushing into the Baron pit. They got caught off guard, and yeah, Frank made him look silly.
Absolutely did, and now massive advantage here for Frank. Dragon spawning in 20 seconds. We'll see if PSG want to contest it, but maybe you're just using that Dragon as time to thwart the damage that will be done by this Baron. You see it there, 700 gold there, picked up for Jiang on this Aatrox.
So they just, I guess they know that PSG are backing. They catch them off guard here, and they're not killing it particularly quickly, but PSG are just nowhere near this. Maple recalls with no TP, and watch Maple try come into the fight here. Jiang chunks him out. Maple actually has to flash away from him. Here comes the Maokai ult, and I think they just look for too much here. They're not willing to just back off. They don't have engage without the Maokai ult landing.
Yeah, Junjie is on Eminem. I was just trying to get on Jimmy and
watch Jiang again.
Does he get Riggedy? Here he comes.
Yeah. Gets onto Betty.
Oh my,
Gets onto Maple and Betty, Justifies the lethality Aatrox build, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. That was insane amounts of damage.
Yeah, any spell he lands on these backliners, they are toast.
Oh, Junjie now, he's going to get flashed on. He's going to get Emperor's Divided. He's going to get taken out.
Yeah, Junjie defending that tower by himself.
Yeah, 50 seconds now remaining on this Baron. Mid inhib and bottom inhib likely to be the targets. We'll see if Frank can get both.
As Maple has muted all and is pushing top.
Yeah, he's going to get himself an objective at least. It is going to be 3v5 in the base. Teleport not available. He's trying to end. It's looking like a base race. Betty does not have the guns for this, though.
They just end.
Yeah, they might be able to. Junjie will be spawning now in 10 more seconds. Recalls, though, they might be coming through as Arja's trying to delay these minion waves, and he's actually able to. Although Jiang has teleported back. Maple, though, turning his attention back towards this minion wave as well as the inhib. He's going to have his work cut out for him here. Buster Shot comes out. Satchel Charge. Oh, it was actually the pullback on the Aatrox's own ability that kind of saves Maple.
Oh, my God.
Satchel Charge. He's on 1 HP. Oh, it's such a tender fight. But in mid lane, though, the sheep are getting rounded as Arja's found his way onto Eminem once more. Betty is here, but he has got both sums this time. He's now got the red And the green gun is going to be able to do damage from far away. Kaiman going to flash away. In comes the teleport from Jiang. Nice handshake to try and find anything to delay some of these deaths. Jimmy down to 1 HP as Woody flashes forward to try and get that last hit. He's not going to be able to, but he now does have that gravitum available for him. He's going to get that route onto Jiang, and Jiang's going to be the target. Handshake will come through. He's looking for the turnaround, but he's not going to find it. In the meantime, though, Maple is working on this base. He's got down the inhib. He's got down one of these towers, and now he's going to get away with it. That's 1 kill and inhib as well for PSG. And by God, do we have a back and forth game in our hands now.
I think Maple recalled, saw how the fight was going, and just decided to TP back into their base. He ends up getting a tower, but does go down.
Yeah, did get the teleport out of Jimmy in though, so and I don't think there's a whole lot of pressure that can come through. No objectives on the map, so I think that you honestly feel good about that if you're Maple. You went down, you got the teleport out for that death, and there's no whole lot that can be done.
Got a teleport and a tower. So that fight started with an Udyr running into the Varus, and Jimmy wasn't there to hit the Udyr with him. I think if Azir and Varus are hitting this Udyr, he dies very quickly, but with just Varus there, Azza just lives forever.
Yeah. And wow, okay, we have a game. We absolutely have a game. Now, I think the important timing now to look out for, of course, is when Maple's teleports back up. If RG is able to keep his teleport as well, there is the potential that we see, even around the Dragon, it should be roughly the same timing. PSG may be pressuring around the Dragon, but ultimately their goal is for this top lane to push in and double teleport into the base. It can be an absolute win condition, and currently you're not really favored to win these fights with a 4-item Azir up against you.
Yeah, I don't love the 4 items he's gone for, to be honest. I don't think he needs the Zhonyas that badly this game. We'll see how the fights play out. We've seen these Zhonyas get a lot of value, especially on the Azir, but...
Yeah, maybe the Death Cap might have been better. He's going to be building it now, so he's going to eventually get it. And honestly, he has so much gold.
Yeah,
he's so far ahead.
Anyway,
yeah. And so I don't think it's the worst problem. And honestly, you don't want to be going down, because if the Azir goes down, that is the vast majority of your damage. So having that sort of delay that comes through from the Zhonyas, it offers a bit of safety. Maybe it's a little harder for you to just hard win the fights, but I think I like it. The Death Cap maybe... I mean, if Shock was here, he would have been flaming and saying the Death Cap was the pickup, but you know, that guy doesn't like defensive items.
So the Baron is spawning soon, but I imagine Frank are going to be looking at the...
Chain of Corruption lands! Oh my God. Okay, importantly, he does have Severum, so he will be able to get his health back on this minion wave. Although he's not using it. There we go. He's going to start using it now, and Chain of Corruption is a big cooldown, as well as Solar Flare. Those are both down. The only thing it costed really was that Mikhail's Crucible, which could be important. We'll have to see what happens here. Baron, and remember, this top lane is going to be constantly pushing, but the bottom lane is going to be pushing from the other side. It's going to be the Baron, and who's going to get it? It's down so low, but Gemini is going to be able to secure it. Jiang kind of walking back in circles. Junjie will be going down. This hostile takeover is massive, though. It lands onto 3, but Eminem finds himself a kill. Betty flashes away. He's stunned up. He's going to get knocked up as well. Gemini, though, he's 1v3. Is Betty going to find the damage? He's not going to, for at least now. He doesn't really have the items or the guns for it. He's 1 HP. Jimmy going to go into status as Maple is going to get that revive, but there is no kills to be found. And the Frank have taken the team fight. 2 remain as PSG, with only Woody and RJ remaining against the 4 strong here of Frank Esports.
Gemini showing that he's good for the smite, and this Azir is massive. PSG did a really good job all fight of just dodging around the Azir. They were all managing to get away from him, avoid him as best as they could, but eventually he got onto the important targets, and yeah, this will be pretty quick.
There's no way they're defending this, even with Junji's respawn come down. And 33 minutes, it felt like a lot longer than that, but ultimately it is going to be Frank off the back of some amazing Azir gameplay out of Jimmy, who will find the win in game number 1. And PSG,
what a comeback,
take their first loss of the split.
What a comeback.
Yeah.